8 of the Chemist Warehouse WNBL. It is great to have you with us. This afternoon, it's the Melbourne Boomers hosting the Townsville Fire in what is the home side's annual Dad and Daughter Day here at the State Basketball Centre in Victoria. Already crowds piling into the stadium. This is the third and final time these sides will face off in the regular season. And so far, the ledger reads Melbourne 2, Townsville 0. So the Northerners, they're out for revenge this afternoon. They're also fighting for a spot in the top 4. As we look at the teams, both sides almost full strength. And as we speak of the squads, let's head over to our expert commentators now. They are courtside. It's hello to John Casey and alongside him, Cam Trigar.
Thanks very much, Hannah. Yes, the first day of summer and the action of heat up in the WNBL as well. We've got 7 rounds remaining after this weekend, and Cam, next month we'll be playing WNBL finals.
It's very exciting, and I think we're getting a little preview of WNBL finals right here with this game case with Melbourne and Townsville.
And speaking of stars of the show, well, Susie Batkovic is certainly one of those, and on Thursday night she became the all-time leading scorer in the WNBL, surpassing the great Rachel Spawn's points tally. Rachel still has her on rebounds, but I dare say that's not the only record that Susie Batkovic is going to finish with.
No, I think she's going to eclipse a lot of records, but what an incredible career. You show me a better player in sports anywhere ever that is more dominant in her 19th season. We're absolutely watching greatness, Case.
It is incredible, and she steered her team to their biggest win of the season on Thursday night. She had 24 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks, as Townsville beat Bendigo handsomely by 42 points. The 2 games played last night were tight affairs. Adelaide getting home against Dandenong, and in Perth, well, they were the top 2 teams going in. The Capitals led big early, Cam, but Perth just find a way to win.
They do, and they're really showing their championship credentials as well. They're a class side, and that's why they're on top of the ladder. You mentioned they were down 15 in the second quarter, rallied, didn't shoot well, but come away with the win.
There you see the ladder as it stands, and by virtue of that loss, Canberra drop a spot to Melbourne on percentage. So Melbourne in the top 2 at the moment and looking to solidify that today. But Townsville outside the top 4 looking in, but a victory today will get them into the top 4 on percentage against Bendigo. So there's so much to look forward to here today. Both teams are stacked. And how about the Melbourne Boomers lineup? 4 Australian players and a WNBA superstar in Lindsay Allen.
They're absolutely loaded as we look at the serious problem that Guy Malloy has getting all his talent through in just 40 minutes. But how's Lindsay Allen? 19 points a game, 40% from 3, and she's 60% from 2K. She's 1.2 points every time she gets one in the air from inside the arc. It's incredible.
Kayla George against her former team's going to be interesting. A little side note here today. And off the bench, so much talent to look forward to as well. Monique Conti, who plays AFLW as well. Kalani Purcell coming off the bench as a Kiwi international. And how about the 18-year-old Jazz Shelley? Well, she is a superstar on the way up, and she is the subject of today's Chemist Warehouse team tour.
I've always wanted to play WNBL. I've aspired to be those type of players playing in this such professional league, and now that I'm here, it's kind of surreal to be able to be in front of a camera, have all this publicity already, and it's only just begun. Kind of a privilege, I think. My family owns a sports shop, so my mum and her mum own a sports shop together. We grew up in Maui. I've lived there for the last 15 years of my life. And then as soon as I started to get higher up in basketball and needed the city to try and get in and out for training, they decided as a family to all move closer. I was grateful for that because now my experiences have gone on to show that that has been such an important factor. They've sacrificed so much just so I can get to where I want to go. My mum's been the main supporter with driving me because she works with my nan. My nan was really supportive with that as well. She'd always alter her shifts and try and make sure that I could get to where I wanted to go. My dad is a shooting specialist coach, so he does a lot of teaching little kids how to shoot. I always have these 2 things, lock my elbow and put my index finger out to get the backspin.
Where you won a Sapphire gold medal a couple of years ago.
That was pretty surreal still. We never even thought that was going to happen, and we didn't even, none of us have ever experienced anything like that before, and we go out there and we win our first game by 60 points. We're like, hey, we're actually good. So to have Ezzy and Mon alongside me, they're such great players, and then now 2 years down the track of playing in the same team is something pretty special to be a part of. It's crazy. It's so cool to see all the kids just sitting on the sideline looking up, having names in the back of their T-shirts of all the girls. It's such a great crowd. Justin coming around with the microphone and trying to pump everyone up. It's pretty cool to be a part of.
Are you ready for your name to be on the back of some of those jumpers?
Yeah, I think it would be really cool to get my name on the back. Some girls walking around with my name would be pretty special to me.
Jazz Shelley, certainly a star on the rise, and appropriate that the Melbourne Boomers have a father-daughter going today here, the celebration, hearing what her parents and her father are doing for her in her junior days. But that's an unbelievable talent.
It is a very special day for her today, but also this Melbourne team, they've done such a great job filling the shoes of Liz Cambage. They're a real sum-of-all-parts team now. Guy Malloy's done an outstanding job, and I think they're playing some great basketball at the right time.
Had some great battles with Townsville already this season. This is the third time in 3 weeks that they played. Most recently, it was here in round 6, and it was a 4-point game, and that was after Melbourne led by 19 points in the third. Townsville stormed home, got things on level terms with 30 seconds to play, Cam. I hope we get another one of those.
Yeah, I'm asking for overtime. I'm praying to the hoop gods, but look at that 27 bench points. That's a big reason of why they were able to come back, but the 22 assists for Melbourne, leading the league at 19 per game, playing some real team ball. It's going to be a tough ask for Townsville.
Let's look at this Townsville starting five. The breaking news is that Susie Batkovic has suffered a reoccurrence of her shoulder neck injury, and we don't know how many minutes she'll get today, having played on Thursday night, but they are chock full of talent. Really looking forward to seeing Tess Madgen in action again. Her numbers have been outstanding. They've got so many keys.
They do. Susie Batkovic, you mentioned her health, but there's a lot of tread off those tyres, Case, in 19 years. She'll push through, but I'm excited to see Darcy Garvin against Kayla George, a master and apprentice. I'm licking my chops at that matchup. I think it'll be great.
And Tess Madgen, of course, well, as a Chemist Warehouse Team Talk feature here today as well. From a South Australian junior, you've played almost 10 years in the WNBL, stints in Europe, a stint in the WNBA. It's been quite a journey. You must sometimes sit back and think this has been a tremendous ride.
Yeah, it's super surreal, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunity, and grateful, you know, to my parents for giving all they had growing up and really instilling in me like a very good work ethic, and, you know, to work really hard for what you want. So I think that's got me a long way in my career. And yeah, it is nice to sit back, and especially after winning the silver in the World Cup, it's what I've always dreamed to do, is play for Australia on the biggest stage. So to sit back and think I've achieved that now, I'm pretty lucky and pretty happy.
2018 runners-up Australian Opals.
Obviously, playing with the reigning champions is a little bit of pressure on. You have to come in and you have to maintain such a high level. The goal is obviously to be champions again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome to be involved with this club. It's, you know, everyone around town, it's a huge part of the town, the Townsville Fire. So to be involved with something like that's really special, and it's Susie's last season. So we definitely want to send her out in style. It's what she deserves. And we're not talking about the championship yet, but obviously every team starts the season wanting to win that. And we just need to keep getting better and better every game to achieve that goal.
And a sporting family, your brother's playing AFL, another brother playing in Germany at the moment. Must have been pretty good games around the house.
Yeah, it was. It was funny growing up. We always used to play Ben, me and Jack, 2-on-1 against Ben in the backyard, and he would still always beat us. My older sister also played state netball and softball, so, you know, they were juggling 4 kids playing sport. So, you know, a lot of credit also goes to my parents.
Madgen with 10 to shoot. Great drive, great finish.
It's really good to be back in Australia. Last week I got to play in front of my family, so anytime you get to do that, it's really special. And I love the Australian style of basketball, and it's just awesome to be up here with the Townsville Fire and looking to get another championship back here.
Well, Tess Madgen, she's going to be influential again here today. She's been influential in great form in recent weeks. In fact, the team of the week in the WNBL heavily featured here in this game that we're going to see, including Tess Madgen as the player of the week, but Lindsay Allen and Susie Batkovic also involved there, along with Kelsey Griffin and Becca Tobin. So let's get to Hannah Hollis. We've got a whole lot of news coming up a little later, and she's with the best newsbreaker in the business.
Thank you, John. Yes, every week in the NBL, we're very lucky to be joined by award-winning WNBL journalist Megan Hustwaite. Megan, thanks for your time. It's great to see you. You'll be back at halftime to give us an extensive recap on what's happening in the league, but can you give us a bit of a taste of what we can expect later?
Thanks, Hannah. Massive week in the WNBL. I'll have the latest on Adelaide Lightning's financial woes and the injury toll at Sydney. It just keeps getting worse for the Flames.
It really does. You're spot on. Well, tip-off is seconds away. Let's head over to our commentators now. John Casey, Cam Trigard, take it away.
Thanks very much, Hannah. Yes, Troy Earl, Justin Hamilton, Aidan Baker working this game. Girls are being patient and ready to go. With finals implications on the line here. And Kayla George wins the tap for the Melbourne Boomers, working to the right of your screen. And they will have first opportunity here. Garrick's guarded by Madgen. Now George looking for Lindsay Allen, denied by Cox initially, and they did enough to force the error. So good pressure from the veteran, Michaela Cox.
And look at the message that Claudia Brassard has sent to Lindsay Allen straight away. Put the little bulldog Michaela Cox out there and said, you're not getting a catch. This is going to be a long night.
Madgen top of the key against Jenna O'Hay. Teammates on the opals. His back of it, looks inside. Pass just had a little too much on it. Darcy Garvin couldn't control it. Townsville cough it up. So again, Michaela Cox looking to deny Lindsay Allen the ball, but she springs free and gets it from Jenna O'Hay. Such an exciting talent, the 23-year-old in the WNBA. Talbot with it. George against Batkovic. Well, the pass was a slow one. An active hands there from Tess Madgen. That's high IQ basketball for you, just knowing where the ball is even without looking in the direction of it. Garvin, baseline against O'Hay, shut down. Madgen fires for the three. Can't connect. Nice job there from Darcy Garvin.
Active start from Darcy on the glass. And just a little feeling out period here, Case, for these teams. We've seen 3 turnovers already as Garvin can't get it to go.
Donnelly got a piece of it, but it's slapped away now by Maddie Garrick against Batkovic. Might like a chance. It dances beyond Susie and then couldn't complete the layup. Well, she'll be disappointed with the finish.
She will, and you can feel the anxiety in this building. 2 really good teams that perhaps have got away with a bit more against weaker opponents in recent weeks, that they won't get away with this against each other this afternoon.
2 best shooting teams in the competition. And at the moment, Michaela Cox dribbles into trouble. They've got the possession arrow, so they'll get it back. But good work there from Steph Talbot. But, well, Maddie Garrick, she's going to make that 99 times out of 100.
She will, and she'll be ruining that missed opportunity. But great hesitation move. Here, the Fire, I'd just like to see them go downstairs to their superstar, Susie Batkovic, to help just get a bit of anxiety out of this game.
Well, she can't control the O-board there. Ball trickles out of court. Townsville come up empty, so a combined none of 4 from the field so far. 90 seconds played here between the Melbourne Boomers and Townsville. 2nd and 5th on the ladder. And Garrick with the ball carrying duties as Cox again denies Lindsay Allen some involvement. Kayla Donnelly with a job there on Garrett. Here's Talbot looking aggressive. Beats the ball outside. Jenna O'Hay to the elbow and comes up with the first score of the game.
And that's what you expect from a veteran like Jenna O'Hay. It's been a rough start for both teams. She says, hey, I'll get a bucket on the board and take a bit of pressure off us, but I need you all to come with me.
She's hit more threes than anyone else in the competition this year, Jenna O'Hay, but she can do it from close range just as impressively. Averaging 11 a game. Here's Madgen. Shot clock winds to single digits. Now she's confronted by George in a double team. She was patient with the ball there, got it to Garvin, and now baseline firing, but coming up short there, Batkovic. And reaching in, she's going to be called for the first foul of the game as well.
That might be that shoulder and neck issue you spoke about, Case, pre-game. We saw her get stood up by Maddie Garrick there as we see the foul on Susie, but that jumper had no legs in it either, so maybe a little bit of fatigue from that emotional win, an emotional night against Bendigo a couple of days prior.
Second game in 72 hours for Townsville. Garrick going hard to work there. Foul by Donnelly. She's off to the free throw line. And they are the best free throw shooting team in the competition, Melbourne. 83%. You don't want to be sending them to the stripe.
Guy Malloy's done a great job. They lead some really important categories like this one here, being able to get to the foul line, as you mentioned, also lead the league in assists. So they're playing some great team basketball. But that Townsville bench we see over in the long shot on the camera there, they better be ready. We mentioned the emotional toll it took the other night. They're going to need to go 10 deep, I think, this afternoon if they want to get this Melbourne team.
Garrick makes no mistake, 11 of 13 from the free throw line personally coming into this game. First 4 points scored by Melbourne. Cox gets it from Bakovic, goes back in that direction. Lob pass inside. Garvin from close range opens Townsville's scoring account. It took almost 3 minutes.
It did, and they went back to their bread and butter. They're the best big-to-big passing team in the league, have been for a long time, and Garvin's done a good job of filling that Kayla George spot that used to be Susie's favourite target. Here they are going at it.
George wrestling with Susie, and Bakovic called for the locking arm foul, and it's on her bad arm as well. And Kayla George with a wry smile on her face.
She felt the hand in the cookie jar. Watch it here. Sue stuck it in. Kayla said, well, I'm not going to give it back, and it's going to look awful for these referees. And she's drawn the foul. Veteran move.
Second personal on Susie as well, so she's going to have to join Claudia Brassard, the coach, and her teammates on the bench here. So that's a minor victory already then for the Boomers as Hay fires. Close, but can't get it to fall. And Donnelly brings Townsville back up the floor. Tina Rakuso has checked in for Bakovic, and she's growing in stature as well. They go to her quickly, and she makes things happen.
And this is a perfect opportunity for Tina Rakuso to stamp her mark even further on this league, just averaging the 7 points, well up on last season. She's been a real spark plug for them off the bench and makes an immediate impact here.
Very talented. Just turned 20 last week. As you mentioned, averaged only 2 points last season, up to 7. And only playing 13 minutes a game. In terms of points per minute, she is one of the best in the competition, Tina Rakuso, and very athletic. Here's Garrick bouncing off Donnelly, picks up the dribble, now needs help, provided by O'Hay. 3.5 minutes played opening quarter action. We're back on level terms after Melbourne had scored the first 4. George against Akuso, takes her on, can't complete it. And Akuso doing a good job here, filling in for Susie Bakovic, who's sitting down with a couple of fouls. Garvin. Akuso around the perimeter. Here's Madgen trying to work it to her left side and into traffic. Now has to retreat. Garvin, nice pass. Donnelly baseline. Couldn't find room for the shot though. Madgen, creative, back outside. Shot clock to 4. Need to get busy. Donnelly elevates and knocks down a tough shot. They've scored the last 6 and take the lead.
Great shot by Townsville, but elite half-court defense from Melbourne. They guarded everything they threw at them, forced a contested long 2. They did not take a loss on that possession, although the scoreboard says 2 points. Good signs for Melbourne early.
Well, George making things happen at the other end, bounces into Donnelly. No whistle forthcoming. Garrick outside, knocks down the triple, and Melbourne put themselves back in front. Here's Madgen, lob pass. Garvin against O'Hay, wants to take on the experienced vet, can't complete. Akuso, the offensive rebound, and she's off to the free throw line.
She is a fun athlete to watch. Just got that built-in mini tramp. Just jumped over the pack. Watch it here. Garvin tries to go to the power move. Good job by O'Hay to stay vertical. And then Akuso, I'll take that, please. And I'll take another 2 free throws.
So Tina Rakuso to the free throw line. She's 20 of 29. 69% from the stripe coming into this game. Averages 5 rebounds a game as well, so she's an impact player off the bench. And made that look very easy indeed. And back on top, Townsville by a point. Middle stages of the first term. Garrick picks up the dribble. O'Hay. They've kept Lindsay Allen completely out of the game so far, Townsville. It's going to have to come from others. Talbot can't complete it. Akuso the rebound. And Garvin hands over now to Donnelly. Garvin for Madgen. Quick step down to the baseline. Now in a mismatch against O'Hay. Draws her out of the paint. Wants to get Garvin involved on the shorter Maddie Garrick from close range. It rattles around the rim. Wouldn't fall. George taps it to her own advantage. And now they control it, Melbourne. Here's Lindsay Allen. Looking to get busy. Dribbles through the paint. Against Akuso. Goes for the quick pass. Garrick penetrating beyond Garvin. Confronted by Donnelly. Worried out of the points. Good D again from Townsville, but Melbourne will get it back. Not before Darcy Garvin sits down, and we're going to see Ali Malott check in. Timeout called here as well. 4:39 left on the clock. Townsville by a point after Melbourne scored the first 7. Cam Trigard. This has been impressive at the defensive end from Townsville. And if Susie Batkovic is injured, then they're going to have to slow down Melbourne, who are the second highest scoring team in the competition. But let's see if we can listen in with Townsville coach Claudia Broussard.
Good job defensively here. Keep denying her. All right. Get a hand up, then contain and forcing baseline and everything. All right. Jump to the ball on every pass. All right. They pass, you jump to the ball. Okay. On this base out of bounds, too hot here. All right. So allow the catch. Be aggressive on that. Okay. So you're going to be on that ball on this side here with your big arms. You're going to go. Okay. Next time down the floor, get to the third side and run an Irish. Can you do that? Third side Irish. Dribble at him, lift out, be there on the catch, okay? Let's go, ladies. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Well, with Susie Batkovic sitting out at the moment with 2 fouls and a neck injury, I'm sure Coach Claudia Broussard's happy with the fact they're in front, Cam, with 4.5 left in term number 1.
She would be, and I think she's coached a really good first 5 or 6 minutes here. You need to junk it up. If your centrepiece is over with an injury or a foul situation, you need to mix it up and find other avenues to be successful. I think Lindsay Allen's going to see Mincy, Donnelly, Cox. I think it's going to be a healthy menu of those 3 really trying to take the ball out of her hands.
Melbourne 2 of 8 from the field so far, just 25%. But they get one from close range and a chance of a 3-point play. Just caught Townsville napping there.
It did, and that really deflates your pressure balloon. Watch a little rub pick here, just slips it, just a breakdown from Townsville's back line of defence, and like I said, just deflates your pressure balloon that you've done such a great job to build. And a lot comes out just there.
Talbot hasn't missed a free throw all season. Now 22 of 22.
Tried to go the late jinx, John Casey. I'm watching you.
What the pass from Lindsay Allen as well. She's not just a scorer. She's top 5 in the competition there, but she averages 5 assists, so she's a terrific distributor. Melbourne find themselves 2 points up. Shot clock rolls to 5 here. Akuso against Talbot, slaps it away from her. Now she's got problems. This has to go up. Mincy with a buzzer in the background. Can't convert, but offensive rebound there for Malott. And she goes to Akuso, getting treatment from McBegor. The 2 youngsters at it. The Tyros, and McBegor wins that battle. Good hands in there from Malott just to deflect the ball, and they forced the error once more. So it's 3 turnovers now for Melbourne, and it's been created by active hands and good D from Townsville.
This is why junior coaches are telling the post players, when you get it, get rid of that thing to a guard. But we see more and more players, you know, in the WNBA and whatnot, being able to take it off the rim and start the break.
Laura Mincy onto the floor as well. Wants to put it on the floor. Garrick worked into trouble, needs help. Akuso provides it. Cox was available, but Akuso happy to go solo for the moment. Jenna O'Hay coming in late, doesn't like the call, but more free throws to come for Townsville here. Fouls on Jenna O'Hay, it's going to be her first.
This is a bit of a deflator as well. See Jenna, she just tried to snake it. Oh, look, got a lot of ball there, and unfortunately, I think it was a very good play in the end. I questioned it in real time. Did look a bit uglier than it was. But I like the edge of the Melbourne defence so far, Case. I think they've been really fighting over screens. They've leaked a couple of offensive rebounds, but the activity has been really good, and as has the physicality.
It's no surprise that Guy Malloy's team 8-4 on top of the ladder. A lot of their work away from home, though. 5-1 on the road, and 3 here. Allen gives it up. Quick hands from O'Hay. Now they work down low. Talbot never really got that on balance. Mincy, pass for Madgen. Have some work to do, but she's equal to it. Now she gets a good screen, works baseline, running into trouble. No room for the shot initially, but she stays with it. She was patient, and she came up with her first points in the game and put her team back in front.
Great poise and footwork from Tess Madgen. Just looks like she's got the pop back in her legs when she uses screens, gets in the paint. Just looks like she's got those springs back. It's great to see.
Well, Kuso stripped of it. Well done by Lindsay Allen. Now she makes room for the shot once more and comes up with the goods.
Nice poised first quarter from Lindsay Allen. She says, hey, you want to deny me? I'm not going to force anything. I'm not going to break out of our structures. I'll kill you when you wear down because my engine's really good.
Malott comes up with her first field goal. seesawing affair here, and now we're back on level terms. Allen shut down by Cox. That's great D from the Kiwi international co-captain. Talbot got it from Kalani Purcell. Now McGregor, shot clock to 5, goes back to Talbot. They've coughed it up. Malott got Madgen in support here. 2-on-1 fast break. Active hands. Jenna O'Hea diffused what was a dangerous situation as Townsville look to bring Susie Bakovic back into the game. In fact, both teams making substitutions.
Look at that little pocket pass there on time on the numbers. Jenna O'Hea makes a great play. Really ran the gauntlet because that could have been her second foul as well, but made an excellent stop. But how's the pass from Tess Madgen? I can see how she had 14 dimes the other night, Case.
Been in great form. Cox down low. Malott goes back in that direction. Not a lot of room in the key. They're back to the top now. Shot clock rolls to 5. Ball deflected out of court. Townsville will get it back, but need to get busy. Boomers have committed 3 fouls so far. Townsville with 4, so they can't afford to foul here in the last 2 minutes. Mincy to restart for Townsville. Lob passes a poor one. Kalani Purcell read that easily. And now Lindsay Allen pushing the tempo. Garrick against Casey Samuels. Back to the top. Talbot. Purcell. Garrick with it. Kayla George harassed by Malott. Goes to Purcell. Top of the key. Not usually her forte. Talbot reaches in over the top to keep it alive and get Garrick the look. And she fills it up.
I really like this high post action from Guy Molloy's Melbourne Boomers. Get a catch Kayla George, I should say, that time, and have those slashing cutters just causing all sorts of problems for the Townsville defence.
Well, they stood off Casey Samuels there, and she makes them pay with her first bucket. And we do a better job on her. Melbourne by a point, a little over a minute out from quarter time. Garrick goes back at Samuels. And here's Kayla George for Garrick, who elevates, looks good off the hand, and it is good.
And Townsville are going to need to make an adjustment here. They just can't allow that high catch to keep happening and just have these slashes working off it. They're getting anything they want right here, Melbourne.
Garrick with 10 points on 3 of 5 shooting from the field. Knocked down a couple of triples and success from the stripe as well. So Samuels shares it with Bakovic. And now Mincy. Shot clock to 5. Samuels needs to get something happening and quickly here. Harassed by Garrick, forced into a tough shot, never looked likely. Great D from Melbourne. And now it opens up at the offensive end. The pass from Garrick intended for Kayla George. She's had too much heat on it. Self-inflicted wounds here for Melbourne at the moment. 5 turnovers to 2 as Monique Conti checks in for the first time. Not too much concern for Kayla George and Maddie Garrick there. They're up 3. Shot clock 5 seconds inside the game clock as we head towards quarter time. Cox shakes Conti, confronted by Purcell. One way, back the other. Step through. Malott in traffic with her hands full in more ways than one. Jump ball forced, and the possession arrow is with Melbourne.
Well, Melbourne just continue to have that razor-sharp edge defence. Look at them swarm right here. Nowhere to go. Jenna O'Hea plugging up that wall, and they force the jump ball, which is a turnover. Really great job from Melbourne at the defensive end.
Garrick lost the handle, regathers against Samuels and decides to pull the trigger. This time can't connect. Offensive rebound from Kayla George. Couldn't get an effective shot away. But an opening quarter concludes. It's been a tight tussle. Both teams in front at various stages in this opening term. And at the end of one, it's a 3-point advantage in favour of the Melbourne Boomers. 10 points from Maddie Garrick is pacing them at the moment. And it's Melbourne 18, Townsville 15. More right after this. Welcome back to the State Basketball Centre here in Wantirna and outer suburbs of Melbourne. This is a game with playoff implications, and it feels like a playoff game as well. Cam Trigard, defence on top early, just 35% from the field. Melbourne, 36 for Townsville, well down on the 40, mid-40s they shoot on average this season.
They are, and you can see in the first couple of minutes, each team almost trying to clown the other. A couple of backdoor passes, bit of showtime just got picked off as either team said, hang on, we're a really good side, and that's not going to get it done this afternoon. And both teams stepped up in that last 5 minutes.
Townsville with a possession arrow. Michaela Cox harassed there into error, lost control of it. She's yet to score in the game, and likewise Susie Batkovic. So 2 of their starters yet to score in the game. Wasn't on the menu for Claudia Brassard, the coach of Townsville. So a chance for the Boomers to extend this 3-point edge. George wanted O'Hay, was denied by good D from Casey Samuels. Bounce pass from Conti, and unsportsmanlike foul has been assessed here on Michaela Cox, I believe.
I think they've got, watch it here, I think they've got the grab of the jersey, or you see her grab the shorts right there, and an easy call for the official, non-basketball play, and it'll be deemed unsportsmanlike. Cox hits by the pick, just grabs the shorts as impeding Kayla George from rolling out to the rim and gets pinged. And I don't know if you'll see Michaela Cox score an awful lot tonight. She's been tagged with guarding Lindsay Allen. I think that's going to take a lot of juice out of the tank, but I don't think that game plan included Susie Batkovic sitting with fouls and injury concerns for the majority of this game, potentially.
Kayla George against a former team extends it now to a game-high 5-point advantage, and they've got possession back as well, the Boomers. 30 seconds done here, term number 2. Boomers second on the ladder. Townsville with a win can go top 4. Here's Garrick. She's being busy, this time off the mark. And Zatina Rakuso grabs another rebound. She continues to fill the void left by Susie Batkovic, who's sitting with 2 fouls at the moment, and also a reoccurrence of the neck/shoulder problem she sustained 3 weeks ago. Here's Garrick exploring against Madgen. Retreats. Purcell around the perimeter. O'Hay with business on her mind. Fall away against Samuels. Couldn't get it to go. Purcell had a piece of it, but Townsville put a stop to it. And it's Cox against Conti. Around the perimeter from Malott to Akuso. Bounce past Samuels. Almost coughed it up. Madgen in traffic. Needs support. Ali Malott fires. Never looked like missing. She's 2 of 2 from the field and gets her team back to within 3.
A much needed basket. Everything's been difficult for the Townsville Fire, and I think Tess Madgen could feel that. She set that one up on a platter.
Ball deflected out of court again. Good work from Madgen, the defensive end. So 90 seconds done in this second quarter. Melbourne by 3 with possession. Kayla George.
Nice little drop pass broken up by Tess there.
Delving into that deep bag of tricks. Kayla George. Here's Garrick wanting Conti top of the key. Cox got there quickly, and a travelling violation called on Monique Conti. So they turn it over for the 6th time in the game. Townsville has 4.
Switch a little footwork, a little change of the pivot. Yeah, good call from the official right there. I think whichever team can control the tempo. It's a half-court arm wrestle right now. Whoever can break the shackles, get clean rebounds, and get some transition points, I think is going to go a long way. And here come Melbourne.
Purcell picked up the pass from Casey Samuels, gave it to O'Hay, and they make it look easy. Pretty to watch in the open court, the Melbourne Boomers. That's why they average 80 a game to be second in the competition. They're out by 5 once more. And giving Townsville all they can handle at the moment. Madgen works to an opening, fires over George, was short. Purcell the rebound, off to Conti. Now O'Hay. Skip pass, Garrick down to Kayla George against the undersized Casey Samuels. Just goes to work, helps herself. Oh, couldn't get a user-friendly roll. It sat up there like it was going to be taking a photo.
Reminded me of that Susie Batkovic shot to win the game in the grand final last year. Case may have been the same rim as well.
Stay up, stay up.
Here's Akuso, turnaround, that is short. Loose ball kept alive. Madgen doing a good job. Malott fires against good pressure from Kayla George. And Monique Conti will get Melbourne back up the floor. Almost 3 minutes played in this second quarter. Boomers by 5 after starting this term, leading by 3 as O'Hay finds Purcell. Now George. Shot clock rolls to single numbers. Purcell knocks down the jumper and comes up with her first score in the game. We've got a 7-point edge. Timeout called by Townsville.
And look here as Kalani Purcell. Yes, you talk about the bag of tricks from Kayla George. Nearly gave Kalani Purcell a nose job right there. Straight back into the midst though, and whack, she knocks it down, and they have a wry smile together, the teammates.
And Guy Malloy will be happy with the start to this second quarter here. 6 points to 2 so far.
So, we've got a 2 on defense. You guys are at the top, all right? You've got to get out to the shooters, okay? On any balls here, ball gets skipped, you guys have got to come get that shooter, and then the guard's going to bump you back down. On the scissor stuff, listen, on the scissor action, action. Ball gets passed to here. I want the guard to take that because they're cutting here, right? So we've got to keep you guys pinching in, okay? All right, let's come out of this timeout with 3 stops in a row so we can run down the other way, all right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Just a little more energy in the voice of Claudia Brassard there in that timeout, Cam. Things just not going exactly the way she would like.
No, it's all going well for Guy Malloy as Kalani Purcell takes it right off the melon back into the mitts and knocks it down. But Claudia Brassard, a lot of talk there about the defensive end, and I get it, but I just feel they've lost the pace offensively. Anytime your North Star is effectively out of the game, as we've seen Susie so far, I know they're a ground and pound team. I know they put 44 points in the paint against Bendigo in their annihilation of the Spirit the other night, but you need to go now and generate some points from other avenues now that your centrepiece is out of this game.
Just 1 of 5 from the field in the second quarter. Townsville, as Mincy finds Ali Malott. She's ready to go and knocks down the triple they needed.
And she could be the one. Ali Malott and Zatina Akuzo have done an outstanding job holding the fort against a very good front pair of Purcell and George for Melbourne.
Here's Lindsay Allen. Picks up the dribble, goes to Garrick, George. They've left Allen open. That's always a bad sign. She caught it deep. Garrick kept it alive with a long rebound though. So chance for Melbourne to reset and build on this 4-point edge. Single numbers on the shot clock. Garrick fires over Akuso. It's all the bottom of the net. She's got 13 to lead all scorers.
There's a spring in her step as well. Danger signs for Townsville. They need to keep punching here.
Donnelly, top of the key, picks up the dribble. Akuso, Malott wanted it. Goes back to Akuso, beyond the foul line, ran into Jenna O'Hay, who reaching in's been called for the foul, and she's not happy about that. It's her second personal.
Well, she's so good at reading the play. Let's watch it here, just gets caught. Yeah, that one was probably close. She's had a couple that have gone against her, and she just, if you show her that ball, she's going to make a play at it, and her timing usually so good, Jenna O'Hay. And young players, I'd be trying to stay away from her.
Donnelly looking to restart, not a lot on offer for her. Eventually Ali Malott gave her an avenue. Donnelly baseline in traffic. Wraparound pass. Akuso rejected from behind by Ezzy McBegor. Great defensive play from the young Australian. She's going to finish it at the offensive end. She misses off the glass. Oh, good hands. Lindsay Allen stolen it back here for the Boomers. She's got Steph Talbot in support. It's closed down. They're on the retreat and will reset here. Well, Kayla George decides to fire the three. It was a good option as she comes up with the goods.
Lindsay Allen just so patient, not forcing anything. Let's see this block here. Big Ezzy Akuso thinks she's going to get the easiest 2 of the night. It's not you, it's me. Get that out of here.
Well, they've scored the last 10 points here in Melbourne. And they have broken free. 30-20 is the equation, but I remind you, these teams played 2 weeks ago. Melbourne led by 19 in the third, and scores were level with 30 seconds to play.
We don't want to change the channel as we listen to Guy Malloy.
You're the 4-man. You're the 5-man. Now, I want power in your finishes. Just go up strong. Don't think about it. And you're sneaking underneath. So after we go rotate, and you move the ball, throw it across, I want you in at the elbow. Yeah, and we will find high lows with Ezzy. All shooters will be around. All right, we make a good push at him now. Don't let him score out of the timeout. Here we go.
Guy Malloy there, things under control for the 2014 Coach of the Year. And as you can see, Maddie Garrick with 13 points. She had 10 of those in the opening quarter, really set the scene for the Melbourne Boomers. And at the moment, 7 points from Ali Malott is the high score for Townsville. But if you've joined us late, Sissy Bakovic picked up 2 fouls inside the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game. She spoke pre-game about a reoccurrence of a neck-shoulder complaint and nerve problems. So she is sitting at the moment, and Townsville are having to do it out without the highest scorer in the history of the WNBL. Garvin got the front and back of the rim, but couldn't complete it. McBegor rebound. Allen running. Georgia ahead of her, attracted all the attention, got it back to Ezzy McBegor. Again from close range, couldn't finish. And a chance for Townsville to work into this double-figure buffer that Melbourne have opened up. Madgen did well. Steps away from the D. Can't complete it. Garrick the rebound. They want to play up tempo. Lob pass for George McBeggar, but onto her, and this time after missing 2 easy ones, she gets the job done.
And it's just a tale of two teams right now. One team getting anything they want. They've missed a couple of layups by themselves at the rim, and then Townsville, everything contested. Quick 1-pass threes as Garvin cleans up some garbage inside. Much needed for the Fire, but it's a real slog for Townsville right here in Melbourne. They've picked up the pace. Transition points is key in this game.
Steph Talbot working away from Madge, and now wants McBeggar. Gets it back, and so easy as she marches down low and adds the 2. She's got 5 in the game.
High-low action again, high post catch, knifing cutters, no communication from the Townsville defenders, and another layup for Melbourne.
Malott, Mincy, good screen from Garvin, who wants it back, and down low, Garvin, that's going to be waved away. Foul's going to be caught on Maddie Garrick, undersized there. She picks up the foul. It's the second team foul on Melbourne in this quarter.
And if I'm Coach Claudia Brasada, I'm throwing out the half-court playbook, which is essentially play through Susie Batkovic. She's not on the floor. I'm playing through Tess Madgen in some middle pick and rolls, a middle cylinder action there to bring all these spare parts of Townsville into play. She's an excellent facilitator, and I think she needs to touch the ball a lot more.
Stella Beck checks into the game for Townsville for the first time. Here's Garvin for Donnelly. Shot clock at 7. Trying to shake Allen and did it well. Got Kuso. Got Allen in the air from close range. Couldn't finish it. Now Allen off and running. Garrick in support. George running hard to join in. Skip play for Garrick, who's hot. Can't convert it. Kuso, look at the athleticism as she climbs upstairs against Sarah Booth to grab the rebound. Oh, she is a very exciting commodity. Satina Rakuso. Here's Donnelly starting to work her way into the game. And Rakuso drawing contact. The foul's going to be called on Sarah Booth, who's got her hands full.
Watch Rakuso here come from out of position off the magic carpet and just, it's like a vacuum in there on the defensive glass. At the other end, never stops working. Young, centers, if you're out here watching, watch her work rate running the floor and going to every rebounding contest. You could learn a thing or two from Zatina Rakuso.
She's got 7 boards already to lead that category, along with 5 points. Shot clock to 5 here. Garvin fires, can't connect. It was a tough shot. Now Allen running. George wants it quickly, and Rakuso just gets her hand in the passing lane to deflect it out of court. Jenna O'Hay coming back from Melbourne, replacing Garrick. Athleticism, Zatina Rakuso.
You can just feel the pace of this game. Melbourne feel like they're running downhill at the offensive end. When they get a board, they're lining up to run that middle lane against some tired Townsville bodies as O'Hay adds to the carnage. And this game is starting to get out of control for the Fire.
The margin out to 14. We saw a quick shot of Susie Batkovic on the bench there with that neck-shoulder problem. Here's Rakuso going to work. Can't complete it. George the rebound. Good hands from Garvin initially. Looking to force a jump, but she's called for the foul, Darcy Garvin. Second team foul on Townsville in this quarter. Melbourne has 3.
Melbourne have done a good job as we see Kayla George foul there on the contest. Going to be strong, tries to rip it away. Melbourne have done a good job being one and done on the defensive glass, and that's sprung that fast break into action, and boy have they cashed in.
Claudia Brassard with plenty on her plate at the moment. We'll try and get a microphone in the huddle with the Townsville Fire.
Just here, we got to clear that corner. Okay, so whoever's in that corner, just go. Okay, big. You can space out, we can pass, kick, and then you can go get that guard. Okay? Or you can pass here on the catch and then come for that handoff, all right? Or you just need to dribble it back, get more space, and then we can attack, okay?
Head tap would be good as well. Head tap, because it's already creating the space.
Okay. Yep.
And this, with the big up high.
Okay, all right, so we're in one up here off of this, okay? So you protect the rim, Darcy up top. One up right
Second
here.
game in 72 hours for Townsville. They were so impressive against Bendigo on Thursday night, winning by a season-high 42. They won all 4 quarters. The rebound count was 47-37. But Susie Batkovic with 24 points, 12 rebounds and 3 blocks was such a factor there. But of course here today, Well, she's been reduced to a spectator, having picked up 2 quick fouls, and as I mentioned, with her injury concerns. Here's Talbot, got it from Booth. Goes back in that direction. 2.5 minutes out from half-time. They're up 14. Townsville have got problems, desperate for a stop. Kayla George almost guilty of a hooking foul there as she gets around Akuso for the 2.
Well, she was guilty of it, Kate. She just didn't get called. A nice finish there from George, and she rolled the dice and she gets the block there, but perhaps a make-up call from the referees who had a similar view. Let's watch the little hooky here. Can I just assist you? Just get out of my way, Zatina. I know your game. Good athlete, so I'm going to need all the help I can get. Still a beautiful move with the footwork. And she swoops to the basket for 2.
Cox gets to the free throw line. Usually very good. 12 of 13 at 92%, but misses the front end there. And I think Kayla George, well, she got a clean block, maybe part of the shooting hand, but Cox makes the adjustment and adds 1 there. So her first score in the game.
And for me, Townsville just seem to be running on fumes. They need a spark from someone. Akuso's been doing all she can, but a big emotional night. Susie Bakovic in Townsville breaks the all-time scoring record. From all reports, they're extremely excited, but have really come back down to earth against a polished Melbourne side today.
Led by Maddie Garrick's 13 points. She picks up the dribble. Casual pass. Stella Beck almost knocked it down. Here's Lindsay Allen putting it on the floor against Cox on the retreat. Worried out of the points, and Townsville will get it to restart.
Lindsay Allen dusts herself off. Now, she hasn't had too many shots tonight, but she pins the ear back here. Doesn't get the call, but nice take on the rim. And that's off that high post catch again. Townsville continue just to go single coverage, but they get out of jail on that one.
Cox, Madgen. Looks off Garvin. Not a lot else on offer, though. She works to the top of the key. And an offensive foul. Moving screen called on Darcy Garvin. And that's going to be her 3rd personal. They didn't need that with Susie Bakovic sitting down with 2.
Well, look at the indecision here. Tess Madgen just going, hey, what are we doing here? Darcy, come get me. Not set. That right foot leans in. There's a close one, Case, but they're really cracking down on that this season.
Allen, the starter step against Cox. High off the glass, and she is a shooter, and it falls. Margin out to the game-high 17, and Townsville have got big problems here as we head toward half-time. Akuso pushes Lindsay Allen out of the way, retreats to Madgen. Here's Garvin beyond the 3-point line. Yes!
Huge shot. Darcy Garvin looks to the skies and says, thank you, hoop gods, as she swishes that one through, and hopefully that's what the Fire need to spark them into action here.
7 in the game for Garvin. No one has more for Townsville at the moment. Here's Booth against Akuso. They're throwing all sorts of numbers at her, and that's a nice scoop finish from Sarah Booth as well to open her scoring account.
And that's the high 3-point shooting. Made 3 of 5 in the first quarter. Now everyone's playing tight as Cox splashes one down as well. But you see all the Townsville defenders up and in on those Melbourne shooters, and Booth just goes one-on-one.
No, Hay brings Melbourne back up the floor. Lead by 13. It's being as big as 17. We started this quarter with Melbourne leading by 3. Talbot took her eye off the ball, bounced down onto her foot. Cox relieved her of it. Goes to it, needed help there, wanted Garvin. It spills to Stella Beck, and Cox gets it back here. She fires from deep. It's another big 3. Exactly what Townsville needed, and Guy Malloy's seen enough.
Well, Guy Malloy has said, I thought this game was over. And he'd be very disappointed. Look, this one from the car park. Michaela Cox puts her whole body into it, and it's nothing but twine. The Tall Ferns skipper. I think she's the skipper, Case, and if she's not, she should be. Get her in there now, because she's single-handedly bringing this Townsville team back into this one.
All right, so you be careful, help tonight here, but they're going to go back so she can sprint, okay? So as soon as the ball's passed, you've got to go back, okay? So let's have Mick Cox and Stella at the front here, okay? And then on the feast, when we're going to go feast, we're going to have to switch, okay? Big, you're switching nice and aggressive on the hand, okay? Be here and here. Got that, yeah?
A terrific fight back from Townsville with Susie Bakovic out at the moment. 2 fouls in the opening quarter and injury concerns with that troublesome neck, shoulder Injury that she struggled with in the last few weeks, but 10 points to 4 after they were down by as many as 17. It's back to within 10, so exactly what Townsville needed coming into half-time, Cam.
It is. They just need to see some shots go down. They're 4 of 7 from 3 in this quarter after being 0 of 6 in the first. So once those shots go down, a bit of that anxiety drops off. But I tell you what, it'll build back up if Lindsay Allen's able to get to the rack like that.
Right on half-time. 44-32 is the equation, so Melbourne by 12 after it was as big as 17. And a 3-point lead at quarter time becomes 12 at the major break. But at least Townsville got something to build on here, Cam.
They do. They showed some spark. They showed some fight, and they got it down from 17, 18 points back to that 10 or 12. And they'll take a lot into this half. They'll need to get their rest, lick their wounds. You can tell they're mentally and physically a little gassed from the other night, but I hope they can pick it up in the second.
Let's get a word with Guy Malloy standing by with Hannah Hollis.
Thank you, John. Guy Malloy, Boomers coach. Wow, that second quarter was really heating up, particularly in favour of the Boomers. What pleased you most about that first half?
Well, we played really good D for about 11 minutes, and then the last minute there we completely switched off. So, you know, the game's in the balance.
I want to ask you about your defence. Townsville have lost Susie Batkovic. We don't know how much more game time she'll play for the rest of the day. How does her absence affect your defensive structure?
Well, she's the greatest scorer in the history of the WNBL, so if she's not out there, it does make the job a lot easier.
But you've got Zatina Okuso to look out for as well.
Yeah, she's a really athletic, nice young player, so we'll have to guard her.
All right, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Claudia Broussard, Townsville Fire coach. Okay, first of all, I need to ask about Susie Batkovic. How's she going, and how are we going to manage her game time for the rest of today?
Yeah, look, I mean, clearly I'm not just benching her. She's not well.
Yeah.
So, look, we probably made the decision that she tried to have a go and she can't play through it, so probably not going to see her again today.
Okay, well, if there's one thing we do know about the Townsville Fire, you guys have a comeback in you. So what's the halftime message going to be to the girls to fire them up to see if you can win this one?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think, you know, it changes us offensively, right? Susie's, 20 shots a game, so someone else has got to take those shots. So we're asking our players to be that little bit more aggressive. I think our other post players are quite good and can finish inside, so we've got to make sure we're getting them the ball and looking to push in transition.
All right, thank you, Claudia. Good luck in the second half. Thanks. All right, well, as the players and the coaches both head to the change rooms, we are heading to a very quick break. But on the other side, we're going to go through all the first half highlights. See you soon. Welcome back to the State Basketball Centre. The Melbourne Boomers are leading the Fire, the Townsville Fire, 44-32. It has been a very tense game, lots of leadership changes. I bring in commentator Cam Tragar. I mean, where to start with this grand final rematch? This is the third and final time these teams are going to face off in the regular season. I want to get your thoughts on the first half match stats as we take a look at how it all unfolded.
It's been a really interesting game, Hannah. I think Townsville have done a fantastic job just to stay close. You see they knocked down 4 3-pointers in that second quarter to get themselves back into this game somewhat. I think they're going to need to continue to junk it up defensively and try and run and gun a little bit because they can't play their usual style with Susie Batkovic out. That said, they've done a great job on the rebounds. They only trail 3 without their best rebounder in Susie, so they've done an admirable job.
I want to get your thoughts on Boomer Maddie Garrick, 13 points in the first half. She came out swinging. Have you seen her performance?
Just class. She's pure class. She doesn't rush anything. She plays great team basketball, just plugs into this team. They lead the league in assists, and she just waits. She's patient. She's on the end of a lot of plays. She can create. As you see there, she's just a jack of all trades, and what a luxury to have for Coach Guy Malloy.
I want to talk about Townsville now. Let's go to the other side. Ali Mallet. How have you seen her performance? I mean, I feel like during the call we needed to figure out whoever could slow the tempo is going to be in control of this game. I wanted to know your thoughts on Ali's performance.
She's been really good. She's kept a minute, a real unsung hero. But any time your MVP, your best player, your legend is down, it's an opportunity for these other bigs to step up. She's been outstanding, as has Zatina Okuso on the glass. Those two can really hold their heads up high. I'd like to see some of those Townsville veterans come to the party.
You mentioned the young gun Zatina Okuso, 20 years old, and she steps up for skipper Susie Batkovic, who, as Claudia Broussard said just before halftime, we don't know if we'll actually see her for the rest of the day. It's pretty big shoes to fill, but she's doing a great job out there.
She is. She's like a vacuum on the rebound. She just gets off the built-in mini tram here. See the little fake handoff. Strong move inside. She got to the foul line a couple of times. She's not scared of the contact to put her body on the line. And at the defensive end, she's a real presence inside, especially on those rebounds. She's an exciting prospect.
All right, well, I think it's time now to check in with our #1 news hand, Megan Huswaite. Thank you, Cam. She's standing by with John Casey.
Thanks very much, Hannah. Yes, we've got the best in the business here, Megan Huswaite. So much news around the WNBL at the moment. Now, I'm from Adelaide, so I know all about the Lightning. They won last night. They're playing tomorrow against Canberra, so everyone in Adelaide, get down and support them. But what can you tell us? What's the latest there?
Good to see them get a win last night over Dandenong. I caught up with Rachel Swan and Adelaide Lightning and WNBL great yesterday. She's understandably very shattered by the developments this week regarding the financial situation. We know the Lightning will continue at least for this season, but Rachel Swan has called on the South Australian Government and Basketball SA to step up and work on a more sustainable process and structure so we see the Lightning next season and beyond in the WNBL.
Just a few weeks ago, they were voted the best team from South Australia anywhere in the last 25 years. They are so important to the community.
They are. Graham Corns, a South Australian sporting great, wrote a fantastic column in the Advertiser this week. And big week for Rachel Swan as well, with Susie Batkovic passing her points record in the league, and she sent Susie a beautiful message during the week, which was lovely.
I think her rebound count record will stand, though, for Rachel, one of the greats, all-time greats in the basketball. Speaking of teams who are struggling at the moment, you have to feel for the Sydney Flames and their coach Cheryl Chambers. 0-10 and injuries galore.
The list just continues. Alex Wilson had surgery on her broken kneecap and cartilage damage during the week, so that's season done for Alex. Alex Bunton saw a specialist about her knee injury during the week. But some good news for the Flames tonight. 23-year-old forward Alex Delaney will debut for them against Bendigo. She is the daughter of former Sydney great Gail Henderson, so we'll be able to catch Alex in action here at the State Basketball Centre when Sydney play the Melbourne Boomers on Fox Sports next Saturday. Really
looking forward to that up-and-coming prospect. Heard good things about her as well. Now, Rachel Jarry was in the headlines recently. Bring us up to speed on her problems.
Well, she's accepted a fine after some contact was made with Canberra's Kia Nurse back in round 6 2 weeks ago. Canberra had some concerns about how Nurse pulled up from that incident, but in good news, she played 38 minutes that night against the Rangers and backed up, clocking 40 minutes against the Melbourne Boomers and hitting the game winner the following week. So that has been resolved and Jarry has accepted the fine.
Lots of positive things happening in Canberra at the moment, not the least of which is having Beck Goddard, the former AFLW Premiership winning coach with the Adelaide Crows, joining them. Tell us about her.
Yeah, well, she joined us on the WNBL show this week, which was fantastic. Good to get a code hopper to basketball rather than to footy for once, so that was great. But Beck Goddard is working as an assistant coach, focusing in on high-performance match day roles, and that's looking after the 1%ers, John. So the footy kind of stuff, deflections, boxing out, and positive body language, and it's definitely having an impact at the Caps.
She certainly can have an influence. We saw that with her coaching role with the Adelaide Crows. She's a great pickup, and Canberra losing last night. There'll be some 1%ers to pick out of that after they led big against Perth, who couldn't get across the line.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable result, wasn't it? Didn't see that one coming, but Perth are doing good things in the West, and it's a bit of a logjam for spots on the WNBL ladder.
Love your work as well. We'll catch up with you. Listen to the podcast on the WNBL website as well, but for right now, let's send it back to Hannah.
Thank you, John and Megan. Well, third quarter is around the corner. We are heading to a very quick break. It is the Boomers leading the Fire 44-32. Can the Fire orchestrate another comeback? We'll have to wait and see. See you soon.
Welcome back to the State Basketball Centre here in Melbourne. The Townsville Fire with their backs against the wall at the moment. Down 12, although they were down as many as 17 before a mini run there into half-time got them back to within touching distance of the Melbourne Boomers. But Susie Batkovic we're unlikely to see again, as we heard from Coach Claudia Broussard at half-time. But Cam Tregar, we remind our viewers that when these teams played 2 weeks ago, Melbourne were up 19 in the third, and with 30 seconds to go, scores were level.
Absolutely. Don't change your channel. There's a lot more chapters in this one. I like the fight from Townsville in that last couple of minutes of the second quarter to get this thing back to 12. They'll need to tidy up the points off turnovers. Melbourne's turned 7 fire turnovers into 11 transition points and 15-6 in second chance points. So tidy up the glass, tidy up the turnovers, girls. You'll give yourselves a chance in this one.
Possession arrow with the Boomers and a 12-point lead. They're back to their original starting 5, which includes Lindsay Allen, who takes over here. Being quiet, well held by Michaela Cox. Just 3 of 6 from the field, 7 points. She's averaged 25 against them in the 2 games against Townsville. This time she comes up empty, knockdown, taking the shot. Cox hands over. Madgen. It's got Garvin, who goes to work, but had the feeding gear a little too quick there. Travelling violation. And turnover number 8 for Townsville. Melbourne has 7.
Yeah, just a shuffle of the feet there from Darcy Garvin. A little bit excited. Got her defender in the air and just shuffled the feet, causing the turnover.
I really liked how Lindsay Allen hasn't got impatient here. She's stuck to her guns, even though they've made her a focus. She had 21 the last time they played Townsville 2 weeks ago, and the week prior to that, 29. And they've shut her out of the game here. But she's happy just to be the distributor at the moment. So here's O'Hay. Got it from Garrick. Back to Allen. Baseline against Malott. Has to give it up. Steph Talbot gets a good look. It's all the bottom of the net as they add another 3.
Great pass and a great pin-in screen from Kayla George as well. And Melbourne are pumped. They know these first couple of minutes, they want to put a haymaker on Townsville's chin, try and send him to the canvas.
60 seconds played in the third. Margin at 15. Shot clock rolls to single numbers now. Cox in trouble against Garrick. Bounced into her again, and now they've copped it. That's excellent D. Talbot leads the charge. Garrick joining in. O'Hay available. George likewise. Look away pass and deflection. Ali Malott getting back to defuse it. Difficult, different situation for Townsville, but Garrick's defence here against Cox was outstanding.
It was really good, and they unfortunately snatched defeat from the jaws of victory on that fast break. They had a 4-on-2, but great job from Townsville hustling back.
Lindsay Allen looked for George, knocked down by the active hands of Garvin. Now Madgen running, Donnelly to her left, Garvin to her right, joining in Madgen. Lost control of it, gave it up to Talbot in the open floor. Cox won't be quick enough. Talbot helps herself to the easy layup. 10 in the game for her. Margin grows even further here. It's out to 17. Cox for Madgen. They just need to steady the ship here. Townsville, almost 2 minutes played here in the third. That's Malott, the turnaround, all the bottom of the net. Isn't she having an impact? 9 points on 4 of 6 shooting.
She's been outstanding and certainly not shied away from the moment as well. Got a lot more opportunity this afternoon, and she's delivered.
Has to play D here against Kayla George. The hooking foul called on Kayla George, and that will excite Susie Bakovic, is standing by with Hannah Hollis.
Thank you, John. Susie Bakovic, we only saw you for a few minutes in the first quarter. Can you give us an update on your neck and your shoulder?
Yeah, look, it's a pre-existing injury that I had a few weeks ago. Started to get better, but it's flared up again, and a bit of a nerve issue, which is the biggest concern, is I'm losing strength in my arm. So, I did what I could, but I wasn't too good out there today. So they pulled me from the game, and hopefully we can try and figure out a way to get it better quicker.
Before the start of the third quarter, I saw you and Zatina Azuko head back into the change rooms. What was said?
Just having a bit of a chat about the game and just getting sorted before the game.
Okay, so she's the person who the coach, Claudia Prasad, is maybe looking to step up?
I think we're looking at everyone to pitch in and step up. And I think last game that we played at home, I think everyone sort of pitched in and stood up, and more shots were coming out. But, and obviously Z's young and up and coming, and I think she's going to be an amazing player in the future. So trying to give back whatever I can out of my knowledge before I retire to help the kid.
Well, Susie, if we know one thing about the Townsville Fire, particularly playing against Melbourne, you guys can orchestrate a comeback. So what does the team need to do to close this gap?
Yeah, look, I think everyone has to be more aggressive. I think in that last quarter, people were on the back foot and not taking shots that are open. So we went into locker room, and what we talked about was being aggressive and being on the front foot. All these girls can play and they can all shoot, and that's why they've been recruited. So we have to make sure that they stay confident and are aggressive to the basket.
Thank you very much for your time, Susie, and good luck with the injury. We want to see you back out there sooner rather than later.
Thank you.
All right, great. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Hannah. Great access from Townsville and Susie Bakovic. In-game interview with a star player out injured. You won't get that in too many sports anywhere in Australia, and we really appreciate the coverage and the access that we're given. But while that interview was happening, with margin out to 14, 6:27 to play here in the third. And Ali Malott certainly picked up the slack, but Susie, 38 the week before Christmas, so after 19 seasons, it's starting to take its toll, but we know she'll be back. And good news for Townsville is that their next 3 games are all single games, so a week spread apart. After today, they're back home against Adelaide and home against Perth the following Friday. So if they can buy some time and try and get that problem that Susie has right and continue on their tear at the moment. They've won 3 of their last 4 and just threatening to move into the top 4.
They are, and they'll need that incredible player right there, Susie Badkovic. So from all reports, the medical staff in Townsville very good, and she takes care of her body exceptionally well. And you have to last 19 seasons and still be the most dominant player in the competition. So I expect Suze to be back soon. But this Townsville team this afternoon, Case, they really need to step it up in her absence.
Just an issue with the floor here. 51-37 is the score, 14 the margin, 6 and a bit to play. We spoke pre-game, Cam, about the greatest player in the history of the WNBL. I went for Lauren Jackson, but you don't see it that way.
I think Lauren Jackson is the greatest women's player I've ever seen on the planet. She passes the eye test incredibly well, had an extremely amazing body of work. But if we're talking about purely the WNBL and the longevity of excellence, I'm putting Susie Badkovic's resume not just next to Lauren Jackson's, I'm putting it next to any athlete that's ever played in a league in the world. 19 years and you're still the best player? Get out of here, Case. That's incredible.
Absolutely amazing, and this girl's threatening to become amazing. Zatina Rakuso adds another 2. What a game she's having. 7 boards at halftime and building her points tally as well. Up to 7 now. A little over 4 minutes out from 3/4 time. McBegor hands over. Talbot bounce into Madgen. They both went down. Ball comes free. Akuso with it. Donnelly. Cox in the corner. Garvin calling for it, and now joining in Madgen. Decides to fire over O'Hay. Quick release shot kept alive by Michaela Cox. Shot clock rolls to 10. Cox fires. It's off the mark. Good hands there from Garvin. Knocked it away from her opponent. Allen deflected it and now gets it back from Jenna O'Hay. McBegor joining in. Likewise, Garrick caught it in rhythm. But couldn't connect, and O'Hay crashes the boards. Couldn't find it. McBegor, great hustle. Keeps it alive, and a chance now for Garrick. Handing over. O'Hay in the corner. Can't convert. So the margin remains here at 14. 53-39 is the scoreline with 4:45 to play in the third. Madgen. Akuso inside, finding Donnelly. Single numbers on the shot clock. Donnelly shut down. Steph Talbot's D outstanding.
It was, and a great scout from Coach Guy Malloy. You see them pushing away from the on-ball screen. Any on-ball that Zatina Akuso's involved in as they get the near turnover down here, the strip, great defense. But yeah, they're pushing away from that on-ball screen, daring Zatina Akuso to take the outside shot, saying they'll live with that. I like that game plan from Guy Malloy.
Low scoring third quarter. 9-7 is the equation since halftime. 53-39. Melbourne lead Townsville here. 4.5 to play in the third as we go into the huddle with Claudia Brassard.
So that's Donnelly here. Okay. Tess, Z, Darcy, Lauren. Okay. Darcy, pop high. We're going the double screen here for Lauren in the corner. Tess, you sprint to that corner. Z, as soon as Lauren is passing, you open up. Okay. So you're looking for low. Donnelly, you're looking for low. On that switch out, you've got Z in there, okay? Hey. Keep looking at attack in transition. Set some drag screens, okay? Get on the rim. You guys are open, shoot the ball. 3, 1, 2, 3.
And Claudia Brassard starting to get even more animated in the timeout because it's starting to become an issue here. Down 14, 4.5 remaining in the third, Cam.
Well, I love that. I'm a big Claudia Brassard fan, and I'm becoming an even bigger one. She said, let's go. Some pace, some drag screens, some step up. That means early screens for those guards to work up. We need to pick the pace up. We're not going to win an arm wrestle without Susie in there.
Kuso has lost control of it. Ball still free. Garvin gets it back from Kalani Purcell. Goes with the right hand, and Darcy Garvin has her tally up to 9. No one has more for Townsville. Margin is 12. 53-41 Melbourne.
And Guy Malloy received a warning from the officials, just mouthing off a little bit, as you can see him not looking very happy there at the top of our screen as Darcy Garbutt. And this is what Townsville need to do, just hang around. Get this thing under single digits in the fourth quarter and try and steal this one.
Inside, McBegor against Akuso. Trying to make room for herself. Akuso held her at bay, and a travelling violation is called on Ezzy McBegor. Good D and a good battle between two up-and-coming prospects. We see McBegor playing with a bandage on her right hand. She has a broken bone in her hand from a game against Canberra a few weeks ago. Spoke to her pre-game and she said she's feeling confident with it now. But this is just excellent D that we're seeing from Zatina Akuso.
It was. It didn't flop. Wore the contact. Two genuine bigs going at it. Wore it in the chest. Went up with verticality. Did a great job, and she's on fire, Zatina Akuso. A real purple patch for her.
Into double figures now. So she's doing well. 13 from Maddie Garrick leads all scorers. In fact, Akuso up to 9 as Garrick on cue fires, builds it up, had a foot on the line, so it's a 2. It's 15 now for Garrick. Coming into this game was averaging 12 a game. They seem to have all the answers at the moment. Melbourne. Shot clock to 10. Malott. And the foot violation called on Kalani Purcell. We reset the shot to 14. As you can see, just inside the three-point line.
Beautiful shot from Maddie Garrick. And this is where Townsville have run into a bit of trouble, just when that ball stops moving. And it gets a little sticky and the leads start being a little tired and slow, as Jenna O'Hea has a wry smile because she knows she just messed up the timing on that one. That doesn't happen often for Jenna Case.
Third personal for her. Likewise, Kayla George has 3. As you can see, aggressive play from Jenna O'Hea. That is her style. And a successful style it is. So a little over 3 minutes out from three-quarter time. Margin is 12. Garrick against Madgen. Got away with some contact there. Purcell, O'Hea. Working on Mincy, made some room for herself. Shot clock rolls to single digits. Monique Conti, top of the key, gives it to Garrick. Shot clock to 4. Penetrating. Well, the pass is a poor one. A look away. It went to Mincy. Akuso in support. Madgen joining in on the other wing. And the pass a little too hot for Akuso. And Jenna O'Hea at the other end controls it and did that well to find the finishing touches as well.
And that really hurts, because if that pass was delivered to Zatina Akuso, they had a 2-on-1 there at the back end of that possession. They turn it over and Jenna runs in the easiest 2 of the night.
Malott did well there, but the bounce pass for Akuso couldn't control it. But Townsville will restart here with 10 on the shot clock, but not before Steph Talbot checks back in.
A little bit too hot to handle there for Zatina Akuso, but a nice interior pass. You see a little high-low action. They've been doing this well for a long, long time, the Fire. It's usually Susie Bakovic on the end of those plays.
So Zatina Akuso will sit down. 9 points, 8 boards. She leads the rebound count in the game, and no one on her team has more points. The 20-year-old making things happen here for Talbot. Conti stripped Michaela Cox of possession. Talbot found her in a passing lane. What a play from Monique Conti, and the finishing touches from Steph Talbot.
Are you kidding me? That was the textbook closeout. The young hoopers watching at home, guarding one of the best shooters in the league. Perfect closeout, slide, slide. I'll take that ball, thank you very much, Monique Conti. Great play.
There's the tandem combine again. Purcell on the retreat. Less than 2 minutes out from three-quarter time. Shot clock to 10. Conti gets it back from George. Was bumped. No whistle forthcoming. O'Hea fires, can't connect. Purcell, the offensive rebound. And she's been impressive in limited minutes here, Kalani Purcell. One of the best offensive rebounders in the competition. And here's Conti outside. Can't connect. Loose ball. Malott well positioned there. Good job with the body to protect the ball drop. And now a chance for Townsville. Malott gets it from Cox. Margin 16. And shot from Madgen off the mark. Ellie Malott keeps it alive only as far as O'Hea, and she wants to run. Talbot in support. Conti joining in. Goes to the left hand, and Monique Conti comes up with her first points in the game.
Danger signs again as this game threatens to get even more out of control. Townsville have more than doubled their turnovers. They've had 8 this quarter alone. Really been loose with the basketball. They've given up 3 or 4 O-boards as well. And as Michaela Cox stops the bleeding.
Monique Conti with it for O'Hay. A little over 30 seconds left until 3-quarter time. Fans are celebrating here once we got to the 60-point plateau for the Boomers. Special deal from one of the sponsors, the Pancake Parlour. 2-for-1 short stack vouchers for everyone, Cam. I'll be trying to locate one of those shortly.
Mate, I heard that there was a competition this afternoon, free pancakes for a year. That's actually the only reason I'm here. I insisted to be on this game. I haven't seen the competition yet, but I'll be up and about when it happens.
You'll be front and centre, no doubt about that. But it's a credit to the Melbourne Boomers and their organisation behind the scenes here. Do a great job of engaging the community, getting the Pancake Parlour on board, celebrating this voucher, 2-for-1 voucher, and as you say, a year's worth. So many reasons, not the least of which is an outstanding team that look as though they at least reprised last year's grand final berth that they had.
They look like a happy team. I mean, anytime you lose a player of Liz Cambage, arguably one of the top 2 or 3 players in the world right now, and they just continue to function business as usual. It's a credit to Guy Malloy.
Ali Malott again. Here's Conti. Last play of the 3rd quarter. She may have travelled. Double dribble is the call. I don't know if there's enough time back on the clock, but let's get a look at this. And as you can see, yep, she picked up the dribble there. Win again, but the 3-quarter time siren in the background. So with 1 quarter to play, Townsville hit the last shot just to buy themselves back into the equation. They're down 13, and they have a history of making runs. So stick around. WNBL final quarter from Melbourne coming your way in just a moment. Final quarter action from the State Basketball Centre. It's round 8 of the WNBL season, and the Boomers looking for a clean sweep over Townsville. They've won the 2 previous games by margins of 8 and 4. There you see the quarter by quarter. So won all 3 quarters so far in this game. When they won by 8 points in Townsville back in round 5, they only won 1 of the 4 quarters. So don't write off Townsville just yet, although they are doing it without their superstar Susie Batkovic. Here's Casey Samuels, and she's rejected Purcell, got a piece of it. Malott joins in now in traffic. They've knocked it out of her hands. In fact, it's Darcy Garvin with it. And jump ball force and possession arrow with the Boomers.
Well, 13 points is nothing. And that quarter really felt like party time for the Melbourne Boomers there. You'd think they'd be up by 19 or 20 points. They won the quarter by a solitary point, although a less than convincing first possession for the Fire there out of the 3-quarter time break.
And Steph Talbot, 12 points on 5 of 7 shooting, has been most efficient today. Purcell, Allen for George, in traffic, wants help. Talbot started the blaze, he's going to finish it as well. She now has 14, only Garrick with 15 has more in the game.
A nice poise by Kayla George. That's why she's a pillar in the Opals team, and just caught it, didn't panic, saw the defense, went under on the cut, and a beautiful pass.
Malott finds Garvin. Purcell out quickly, worried her out of the points there, and now hands over to Lindsay Allen. 9 points on 4 of 8 shooting for Allen, who came in averaging 19. They put the clamps on her. Steph Talbot springs free, can't complete it. Look, Purcell, a nose for the ball. She finds the long rebound. The pass inside, well, eventually it came to George. Purcell turns it down. O'Hay fires off the mark. Casey Samuels had it, and Purcell relieved her of it.
Like the Dennis Rodman of the WNBL. Happy to pass. Hey, you guys shoot it. I'm going to go get every rebound, though. Outstanding from Purcell.
Here's Kayla George firing the 3. It's short. Imagine the rebound for Townsville. So they weather the storm. They need to come back at the other end and put some points on the board. Casey Samuels picks up the dribble, finds Garvin. Cox. Imagine wanted it inside on the shorter Lindsay Allen. Skipped pass. Here's Ali Malott from deep. Couldn't get it to go. And good body work there from Lindsay Allen, protecting the drop zone again and grabbing the rebound. As O'Hay looks baseline, but Talbot just couldn't handle the pass.
This is the first time I've seen Lindsay Allen in the flesh playing, and you see the numbers and you high assists, high points. You think she's going to be a gunner that needs the ball in every play. She's been more than happy to fall into the team structures. Hey, we're winning this game. I'm not going to try and insert myself. It's been really impressive and speaks to Guy Molloy's culture.
Offensively, you are all standing and watching. Got to move the ball. Let's go to the 4 series stuff here. Okay? Set this pin down, get the ball moving, hit on the flare. Boy, we got Nick coming off the flare. It's not on. Keep moving the ball, but don't stand and watch. Okay? Right now we're standing, we're watching, and then we're pinging three. Easy to defend.
Well, you see the Melbourne Boomers there, and Guy Molloy just walking away from his team during the timeout. I'm not quite sure where that all started or the reason behind that. Obviously, certainly looks by his demeanour a little hot under the collar. His team up 15 at the moment, but let's see Claudia Brassard starting to lose patience because she tried the nice Claudia and that wasn't getting the result, so we had to get angry Claudia involved.
Well, I've got a stat in front of me that says why she might be angry, Claudia, and that's fast break points that she wants to take a bit of pressure off this offense. 2 for the Townsville Fire in a lot of basketball, 3.5 quarters, and that could be why she's a little heated right now.
Kayla Cox fires, can't connect. George grabs the rebound. That's number 7 for her in that category. Joining Purcell as the leader for Melbourne in rebounds. And again, Steph Talbot from close range. The pass just couldn't get sure hands around it. And they turn it over now for the 15th time in the game. Helping that equation now is the fact Townsville have got 15 in the turnover category.
Yeah, 30 combined. There's been a lot of turnovers. A lot of back cuts have gone astray. Passes have gone into the crowd, deflected. There's a lot of one-shot kills here. One pass trying to make the winning play. Just one pass. Oh, I'll try and get a layup. No team has really been able to sort of wine and dine the other. Melbourne's just done a better job in transition, and that's why they lead by 15.
Tess Madgen to the bench. 2.5 minutes played here in the final quarter. Stella Beck onto the floor, penetrating. Had the ball dislodged, needs to retreat. Casey Samuels against Talbot. Shot clock to 5, needs to get busy. Ran into Kalani. Purcell fires, and Casey Samuels knocks down the shot. Her first point since the opening quarter.
Well, another great defensive set from Melbourne, but an even better play from Casey Samuels. Great offense, trumping great defense right there.
Lindsay Allen against Michaela Cox. It's been a formidable battle all game. George from the foul line, front of the rim, user-friendly roll over the top of Garvin. Kayla George with 9 points, 7 boards, and 5 assists in an all-round impact game. Samuels' poor pass was never going to find the target. Went straight to George. Gary can support. Talbot back to George. She started it and she finishes it with aplomb.
Beautiful. I was going to say, I thought Maddie Garrett gave up the ball way too early, but I should never have doubted her. Had the trailing Kayla George down the middle. Beautiful fast break basketball from Melbourne.
Cox penetrates. Garvin baseline. Malott. Beck. Shot clock to 6. Samuels got problems now. Here's Garvin against the shorter Lindsay Allen. It's an offensive foul. The points won't count. Darcy Garvin picks up her 3rd personal.
Just wants to clear some space. Watch it here. Watch the elbow on the shoulder. I'll just clear some space. A little bit of a flop there. Don't think she really needed to go to ground. Think she still may have got the call. Lindsay Allen's. Watch it here. No, she's already going back, but feels that hand. High IQ play, but probably didn't need the flop to flop at that extent. But Townsville, everything's just hard right now, Case. It reminds me of a bowl of soup. I don't quite know what I'm having. I've got a few little flavours, but there's nothing meaty in there. I can't put my finger on what we'd call the offence.
Won't go well with your pancakes if you're going to have soup as well.
No, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a chowder. I don't know. It's a whole lot of different flavours, but nothing I can hang my hat on and say, this is this. It's just, it looks like a struggle from the girls from the far north.
And probably underscored by the assist count at the moment. Melbourne 19 assists, Townsville 10. And thrown out of their rhythm in the absence of Susie Batkovic, who only played a couple of minutes and couldn't go because of that recurrence of a shoulder neck problem. If you've joined us late, Samuels off the front of the rim, Garrick the rebound. And Susie reduced to spectating and cheerleading at the moment. I hope they can get that right, because we know that she is a game changer when she's on the floor. But right now, 5.5 remaining. An offensive foul is going to be called here on Melbourne.
Yeah, same call we saw Darcy Garvin pinged for before. Just watch it here. Kelly George just not quite set. Easy call for the official, Johnny on the spot. And here's Townsville. They really need to eat into this 17-point lead. 5.5 minutes is plenty of basketball. They need to string 3 or 4 good possessions together in a row. Get some good shots.
Okuso, so influential early, goes to work. This time can't connect. George the rebound, hands over for Garrick. And she surveys her options against Cox. One way, back the other. Now Kalani Purcell wants Lindsay Allen. George, shot clock to single numbers now. Talbot, ball deflected by Samuels, so Melbourne need to get busy. 4 on the shot clock. Garrick puts a foot on the accelerator, made room for the shot with the arm bar. Can't connect though, and Townsville with Michaela Cox running. Malott ahead of her. Beck joining in likewise. Okuso top of the key, and Cox wanted Malott, but it goes awry, and they turn it over for the 18th time in the game. Above their season average, and 4.5 remaining on the clock.
That's just fatigue case. Any time that all these players are carrying much bigger workloads, you're down, you're expending a lot of energy on defense, and they just look tired at the offensive end. Susie normally carries such a big load. A lot of players have stepped up really valiantly for Townsville, I might add, but not ready to take on a team of Melbourne's calibre with a player like Susie down.
Oh, Malott goes down hard. She's off to the free throw line of the tangle of feet there. Well, Susie Bakovic averages 32 minutes a game, so someone's had to play those 32 minutes. And of course, no one's going to provide the production that you get from Susie in those minutes. But I've really enjoyed the game from Ali Malott here. She's certainly bought into the equation. 12 points on 5 of 9 shooting.
Yeah, she's been really aggressive. And going to the rim, taking the 3-point shot when they go under on her, and she's got a nice looking stroke for a post player. And yeah, she's really made the most of this opportunity and put her hand up possibly for some more minutes in the future.
And we saw glimpses of it when we were in Townsville for their home game against Sydney earlier this season, and she has just continued to improve. Ali Malott, so promising signs there for the Townsville Fire. A little over 4 minutes out from the conclusion here. Margin is 15. Conti onto the floor. We're seeing Ash Grant for the first time in the game. We've got 9 scorers at the moment, Melbourne. Townsville has 7. That looked like an offensive foul, and it is.
And this is what you like. You watch here. Michaela Cox put her body on the line. This is what you like if you're Claudia Brassard. There is games within games. Whether you get the chocolates here and get the result, you know your marquee centrepiece is out. You know things haven't gone right. But look at, I mentioned the culture of Guy Molloy and Melbourne. This Townsville team is still competing. Down 15, 4 minutes to go. They're in the lanes. They're putting their bodies on the line. This is why they're the champs, Case. Whether they win or lose this game, they look like serious contenders yet again.
Good hands from Conti. Purcell in support, can go in for the easy 2. Just couldn't get enough English on the ball, so she misses what she would likely make. As Donnelly zigzags her way forward, feeds Madgen down to the baseline, running out of room. That's the full 360 test, Madgen. It's 5 points for her on 2 of 8 shooting. At the offensive end, they needed a bit more. The pass for Conti from Garrick. She did well to keep it alive, but only as far as Madgen. Donnelly in support. Okuso joining in. The trailer is Ali Malott for the 3. Can't connect. When it comes to Cox, and she sprays it up as well and does knock down the 3. She's got an even dozen on 3 of 5 from deep.
And hold the phone while we talk about a game within a game. This all of a sudden is back to a 12-point lead with 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go. And Guy Molloy could sense, hey, that this game is not over yet. Don't change the channel.
Great hustle, and Michaela Cox, well, she put the clamps on Lindsay Allen early and gave her no room at all. But now she's added to that with 12 points.
Press attack here. We're in a 4 set. The ball's going to move. All right, we're in a 4. We'll get to a final pick and roll. I want you rolling really hard. the pass will probably come from behind you. Now, they don't get open threes. We're in a red on Malott. That's the only guy, right? Execute, finish plays. Hey, the game's not done. The game's not done. Here we go. We need to score this play. Be ready to go back in.
Guy Malloy there making sure his team is switched on here because, as we mentioned, Ali Malott is doing some very good work here. 14 points. She leads Townsville. But how about Kayla George? Her numbers at the moment: 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals. And right across the board, she's stuffing the stat sheet. I read that Lindsay Allen, during her college career, had a double-double on assists and rebounds in a game. So we know the sort of talent you need to come up with those numbers. But we move inside the last 3 minutes. Townsville has scored the last 5 here, just to make Melbourne a little nervous. Ezzy McBegor goes hard but comes up empty. Kalani Purcell is there again. Rebound number 9 for her. And half of those at the offensive end. That's killing Townsville. Garrick off the mark. Imagine the rebound. Donnelly with Cox ahead of her. Akuso in the paint. They look for her now. McBegor right there with her. Has to retreat. Well, the pass, Imagine, a little off the money. It's picked up by Kalani Purcell, who adds the easy 2.
And that's why Kalani Purcell is worth the price of admission. If you've got a daughter or a son you want to bring and watch play and see someone compete every time, whether it's first quarter, fourth quarter, you come watch Kalani Purcell as Zatina Akuso gives Townsville a glimmer of hope.
Nice finish. Ezzy McBegor there. Balanced, caught it, controlled it. Made it look a lot easier than it is, particularly when you've got a world-class shot blocker defender coming at you.
I think Zatina Akuso just doesn't care. She just doesn't think about those things. You just throw it up, I'll go get it, I'll go finish it. She's absolutely fearless in there and definitely a star of the future.
Love her ambition as well. Said she's going to be the first player to dunk in the WNBL. And I wouldn't put it beyond her.
I don't doubt her at all. I don't think it's if. I think it's going to be when case.
Pressure on Melbourne inside the last 2 minutes now. And Conti slows it down, showing experience beyond her years as well. Guarded by Cox. Good screen, McBegor. And now Kalani Purcell deserves a bucket here after all the hard work she's done. Can't connect. Akuso the rebound. So double-figure rebounds and points now for Akuso. Here's Donnelly. Put the stutter step on them. Can't find room for the shot, though. Needs help. That was ambitious from Imagine, trying to thread the needle. Melbourne knock it down out of court.
Ambitious has been the story of their afternoon, Case. Maybe even silly at times as they balloon to 21 turnovers. And you got to take care of the onion, Case, or it's going to make you cry. And there might be a few tears behind closed doors, of course, from Claudia Brassard when she looks at that turnover count at the end of the game.
Malott retreats. Garvin, shot clocked at 10. Wants Magin. Good wrestle down low to get position against Garrick and comes up with the 2. Imagine now has 7 points in the game. Her first score in this quarter. Margin to single digits. Imagine reaching in. Has overcooked it here against Kalani Purcell. Picks up the foul.
We talk about a game within a game. If you're Guy Malloy, the flip side is he wants to put this team to the sword, because if this is a 4 or 5 point win for Melbourne, Towns will fly home and go, hey, we nearly beat you in your own house without our best player. They'll take that into finals as a win instead of a loss, as the Boomers doing their best to let Townsville back in this one.
This doesn't thrill the coach, Guy Malloy, who just turns away in disgust. Timeout called. And so good fight back again from Townsville, and credit to them for staying with it. They've been down by double figures since early in the second quarter, but they've got it down to 9 now at the moment on a good fight back. And only 8 points has been scored by Melbourne in this last quarter, Cam. So that's terrific deep. And in the process, they've added 12 of their own. But they've been able to slow Melbourne down. But unfortunately for Townsville, just haven't been enough at the offensive end to complement that.
Absolutely. And perhaps I have to apologise to the people at home. We feel like we've been a little harsh on Townsville. Let's not get it twisted. This has been an outstanding effort by a team that's undermanned. I know it's just one player out. But when it's Susie Bagkovic, that's about as good as 3 or 4 key players from your team. So undermanned, these Townsville Fire players have really stepped up. They could have thrown the towel in here. They've shown some huge heart and ticker, and their fans can be very proud of this effort.
Oh, without a doubt, Cam. And Susie leads the league in scoring, second in rebounding, third in blocks, 42% from beyond the perimeter. Hard to replace. And what they have done has been outstanding. Get it back to 9 after it was out to 17 in the second and 18 in the third and 17 here in the final. They just kept digging. Samuels, Madgen, minute 20 to play. A little bit of nervousness in the D from Melbourne here at the moment. They've let it slip. Here's Cox, picks up the dribble. Garvin fires, front of the rim, gets her own rebound, and from close range adds the 2. 11 now for Darcy Garvin, the margin 7. Susie feeling the stress of it all as well. It's hard when you're a stud and you can't be on the floor. Foul's going to be called here on Darcy Garvin. The third team foul on Townsville in this quarter. Melbourne has 4.
Yeah, smart foul from Garvin there. I'm not sure if they're going to play the free throw game just yet, but knowing that they need to build up those team fouls up to around the 5 mark if they do want to play that free throw game towards the end.
Well, they need to be careful. That one on Garvin was almost unsportsmanlike, given the letter of the law. This one's on Tess Madgen. She wasn't trying to foul Maddie Garrick there, just momentum though. Couldn't stop and bumped her over. So both teams on 4 fouls here in this final quarter. Timeout has been called here by Guy Malloy. Unable to listen into the huddles during the last 2 minutes of games if you're not aware, so we can't provide the audio from there. What we can tell you is that back to 7 after being down as many as 18. It's another good fight back from Townsville, and the action continues here in round 8 of the WNBL. Tomorrow in Adelaide. Adelaide, who beat Dandenong last night, 86-80, host Canberra, who lost to Perth last night by 4. All our viewers in Adelaide, get out and support the Lightning. They need you to get out and support them as we look at the Boomers shot chart. And at the moment, the Boomers 45% from the field, which is a stark improvement. Early on down in the 30s, Cam, so they've done well to lift it.
They have. It's still, for me, it's not as impressive as it could be, and I don't want to take any gloss off what will most likely be a win for the Melbourne Boomers, but I bet Coach Guy Malloy is thinking this is a timeout that I never thought I'd have to burn. And we're 17 up in the third quarter. This crowd's expecting party time. They're starting to turn it on in transition, but this gritty little Townsville side without their gun has really stuck it, and you could see the frustration on Coach Guy Malloy's face. Like, seriously, do I really have to call this time out and make sure we get over the line here?
Well, with 5.5 minutes left in the second quarter, the margin was in double figures, and it was double figures all the way up to a minute ago. Townsville have just continued to fight and made Melbourne earn this one. Here's Allen. They're going to foul her now, and Lindsay Allen will go to the free throw line, where she's an 88% free throw shooter.
It's an interesting strategy. I think with that amount of time on the clock, you really can double, get it out of, you know, those 88, 89% fouled shooters into someone else. But we mentioned Lindsay Allen. We look at her stats here, just 4 of 9 from the field. Hasn't shot a free throw tonight, so we'll see. That could have been a strategy to get Allen to the stripe.
Spoke with her pre-game, and terrific addition to the WNBL. Her Las Vegas Aces WNBA team teammate, Nia Coffey, playing in Adelaide. She's brought a lot to the table here and said she's thoroughly enjoyed being in Australia as well. Her family's coming out for Christmas, so a new experience for them, never been to Australia before. And I asked her about the comparison between the WNBA and the WNBL, and she was like, everyone knows about the WNBL. In the last couple of years, it's made dramatic strides forward and has been for some time one of the best leagues in the world.
No doubt the product is absolutely outstanding, and we're very blessed to be able to call games here. I absolutely love it. Follow the league very closely. It's world class, and you know, our Opals, it's fantastic that we have such a strong league that's so attractive for our top line players to play. As we look at the Fire main rebounders led by Zatina Akuzo, the vacuum. You know, she's just been absolutely gobbling them up and really got Townsville back in this game.
Just love to work, and we spoke about her pre-game in terms of her production per minute, one of the best in the competition. The full credit to the Boomers, another professional performance by them as well. It hasn't gone all according to script for Guy Malloy. He's had to hurry them up a little bit at stages, but this is a team that's second on the ladder and headed for a 9-4 record with a win today and a clean sweep over Townsville 3-0 here in the regular season.
It's fantastic as we look at Susie looking on, just wishing she was out there. But Guy Malloy's thinking about championships. He's thinking about playoffs and the level of play. But, yeah, don't get it twisted. At the end of the game, he's going to take this win if they are able to hang on.
Milot for the three. It's all the bottom of the net, and it's not over just yet. Back to a 5-point game. This is as close as it's been since the opening quarter. But at the other end, Steph Talbot steadies the ship. Madgen guarded by Kayla George. Only 30 seconds to play here. Townsville continue to make runs. Cox forced into a tough shot. Garvin can't keep it alive. O'Hay gets it to Garrick. And that'll just about do it here. Garrick can kick outside. Kayla George will fire. And the foul is going to be called.
She's put a boot on the sideline, I think, Case. Don't see the post play. She doesn't drift out there too often, Kayla George, especially out to the corners. You see the pick and pop mainly from the top. Kayla said, I might try one of these and just put a foot on the sideline.
This Cox working baseline, drawing contact. So free throws to come now for Michaela Cox as a foul's called on Kayla George. And that's going to be all for Kayla. That's 5 and out for Kayla George. She's filled the stat sheet in every category here. She sits down with 11 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, 5 steals, 5 fouls.
And that's a credit to her and her development. I remember when she first came in the league, she's a product of far north Queensland herself from Cairns, and she's always been a great scorer. She used to get it, try and score every time, score, and she was very good at it. Now she lets the game come to her. She's an elite passer, very good defender, good shot blocker, excellent rebounder. That's why she's had such a great career.
Lindsay Allen draws contact from Madgen, so more free throws to come here for Lindsay Allen. Free throw count weighted in Townsville's favour. 11 of 13 Townsville. Melbourne 6 of 7. They are the top 2 free throw shooting teams in the competition percentage-wise. Top 2 from the field and joint second from three-point territory. But for Lindsay Allen, while she hasn't been able to dominate as she has against Townsville in the past, this is another part in the learning curve for her as well. And I asked her pre-game about that, if she thought this game, the WNBL, was developing her game, and she said no doubt. Well, she is getting involved here against Casey Samuels, hitting the floor hard as well. And in her haste to come and help out there, the skipper Jenna O'Hay has joined her on the canvas.
A little shacked in a full moment. Let's watch Jenna come in here. I'm just trying to be a good teammate. Hopefully we've got the shot. Keep going, Jenna. I got you up. Down I go as well. Jenna O'Hay just getting on the, we'll call it a highlight reel late in the play.
I think that might get played again too, Cam. That could come out. I'm sure that'll get a mention at video session from the coach.
Absolutely. Usually it'll probably be the last clip of the day before they go out to practice. Here's Jenna. Whoop. Down I go. If you're down, I'm down too.
Cox, Malot with the last play of the game. Can't get it to go. And the Melbourne Boomers have prevailed here. And again, it's by single digits, all 3 games between these teams. Won by Melbourne, but by single figures. And in this one, it's a 6-point margin. Melbourne 73 has defeated Townsville 67.
Yeah, a really big win for Guy Malloy and Melbourne. I know it wasn't pretty, and both teams can take away real positives from this win, Case.
Well, let's get a post-match interview with Hannah Hollis.
Thank you, John. Maddie Garrick, congratulations on the win. You're the game's top point scorer today, 15 points. What pleased you the most about this incredible effort?
I think, we had the head-to-head over Townsville, so we came out hard. We had to work on our defence this week, but we kind of let our effort down a little bit. We gave up a bit earlier, let them get back in the game. We pushed the points out to 15, 20 points at some stage, and then, just kind of lost a bit of focus and defence. But at the start of the game, we came out firing, and our shots were dropping, and we were getting good rebounds and playing some good team ball. But we just need to continue that throughout the whole game.
I feel like we haven't seen the last of a played Townsville Fire and Melbourne Boomers clash. This was the last head-to-head for the regular season, but I'm sure you'll meet each other in finals. You got a glimpse of what life would look like for Townsville without Susie Batkovic. What do you take away from today?
I mean, they've got some great shooters. They did really well to get back in the game. Again, we had some lapses mentally, but to have someone like Susie out in the team and be able to still compete and still, you know, put us to the test and get back into the game, that's fantastic, and that's what teams should do when they have a big player, you know, step out. So they did really well tonight.
Oh, thanks for your time, Maddie, and enjoy the win.
Thank you.
All right, don't go anywhere. We have so much basketball to debrief. Coming up, we've got the full-time match highlights from this round 8 clash between the Melbourne Boomers and the Townsville Fire. Welcome back to the State Basketball Centre in Victoria for this round 8 clash between the Melbourne Boomers and the Townsville Fire. Well, Melbourne, they are victorious today, winning 73-67 against Townsville. The Boomers officially undefeated when playing Townsville this season. John Casey, Cam Tregar are the expert commentators with us this afternoon. Gents, there's so much to unpack, so let's get into it. Time now for our Chemist Warehouse match analysis. Now, as we take a look at the full-time match stats, gents, take me through what stands out for you, starting with you, John.
Well, while we look at those numbers, I think we'll probably point out the fact that it's one of those rare games where the losing coach, Claudia Brassard, probably feels a little happier than the winning coach does, Guy Malloy, who let a big lead slip, and full credit to Townsville to fight their way back into it. And Cam, I think the takeaway from me is that both these teams remain in championship contention.
They absolutely do, and both teams will put a positive spin on this game. Guy will say the important thing is we showed some grit and we hung on, and Claudia will emphasise the fight. The big thing for me is the rebound count. 36 all with a real centrepiece like Susie Batkovic down for the count. For those other Fire players to be able to step up and equal a rebound count with a very good Melbourne team, I think is impressive.
All right, let's explore Melbourne's performance today. We'll start with Maddie Garrick, the team's, or the game's highest point scorer, 15 points today. John, what did you make of her effort?
Well, she set the tone early, Hannah. She had 10 points in that opening quarter. It was 18-15 at quarter time, so she really set the standard early. We know she's such a good scorer, but then she was able to share the ball around. As you say, she finishes with 15, 10 in the first quarter. After that, she was happy to distribute, and I think it showed a maturity from the team in the fact that their main scorer, Lindsay Allen, didn't have to get involved as a high scorer as well, Cam.
They have huge buy-in. You mentioned that hot start, and then in the second half when other players had it going, they're all happy to move the ball, shift it. Whoever's got it going, they go to. I think Guy Malloy's onto a winner with his culture and structures in Melbourne.
Let's talk about Kayla George going up against her former team. What is it about versing a former team that somehow brings out the best in this athlete? She had 11 points and 8 rebounds. What does that say about her competitive nature, John?
She just loves winning, and doesn't matter who it is. She's happy to play with you. She's happy to play against you. She was a star again today, Cam.
She plays with so much emotion, always a big smile. The smiling assassin, she'll kill you. She'll elbow you right in the head and then smile at you and say, sorry about that, but such a complete player. She's amazing.
All right, well, next week, the Melbourne Boomers, we are back here at the State Basketball Centre for a 3 p.m. tip-off. They play the Sydney Uni Flames, who are still yet to enjoy a win this season. As we spoke to Megan Huswaite at halftime, it does seem to be going from bad to worse for the Sydney Flames. So we definitely hope for their fans that the team can turn it around sooner rather than later, but it's going to be tough given the Boomers will be on such a high after today's game. Well, gents, that is all we have time for at the State Basketball Centre this afternoon. Look at that. Isn't that great fan interaction? So wonderful seeing that.
Do a great job here, they do, Melbourne, and good winners today.
Thank you very much, John Casey, Cam Tregar, and to Megan Huswaite as well for your involvement. That's all. We'll see you next week.